You know what? This spiritual awakening, girl. Welcome back. Welcome to my channel. I am Nicole with Divine Healing with Love. I'm sending you all so much love, positive energy out there. I wanted to take time today to talk about my spiritual awakening. Let me get a sip of water. All right. Let's just talk about it. I feel like I'm going to cover this video in a couple of parts. So, because it's a lot to cover. And again, click it and get it in 15. So let's go. My spiritual awakening, I feel, began in 2012, 2013. Let's see. I feel like I just started to, at that point, 2012, I had just got married. I got pregnant. Yeah. So that's when it started. Like the end of 2012. I had just got married, got pregnant. I was, a teacher. All those things. Like I just had these, because you envision, again, programming from society. You tell yourself like, oh, I have to, be married by this age. And I was definitely that girl. I was definitely that girl that I had these goals in my mind. Again, programming. But I had these goals in my mind. I'm going to have this by this age. I'm going to have that by this age. I'm going to do this by this age. Like, I had to do it all. So at 2012, I just got married. I feel like I just turned 29. I turned 29 that year. But I got married, I was 28. I was pregnant with my daughter, my first daughter. So these were things like I had to be married by 30, had to have my first child by 30. I was in my career. So I felt like all of these boxes had been checked off. But, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. Like no one even really, I don't really talk about this with anyone. But it's like, oh, you're talking about it with the YouTube world. Okay, Nicole. Anyway, no one really knew this. Like, I really wasn't happy. I didn't even tell my husband at the time about this because I felt ashamed. Honestly, I felt ashamed that I wasn't happy. Like, how can you not be happy, Nicole? You have everything you've ever wanted. All these goals. You had a beautiful wedding. You're pregnant now. You had everything that you wanted. I was also doing creative projects on the side. So I was writing because I'm also a writer. So I was doing stuff, but I just wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. And I felt like I couldn't tell anyone because it's like, how can you not be happy? You have everything you want. So I continued to, go through the motions. I'm waking up, I'm realizing that I'm not happy. I'm trying to understand why I'm not happy, but whatever, healing to the side. I don't have time to heal. I got time to deal with these goals. The 3D world. That was where I was. I'm just going to keep doing that. So then we get to 2015, 2016. I'm getting more into like the knowledge part of like what's happening as far as like I was doing some reading on things and like, I'm trying to think at the time, like what I started to get into like numerology and a little bit of astrology, but it was just bits and pieces here and there. I wasn't deep diving. I wasn't doing all of that. So 2015, 2016 came. Now I have 2 daughters. Shout out to my daughters. I'm married. Things are good with my husband. Shout out to my ex-husband. We're great friends. So things are good. It's cool. Like, it's great. I'm in a house now. We wanted to get a house. Like, things are great, but still not happy. So I started therapy because I felt I needed that, which was great for me at the time because therapy allowed me to begin to open up, to begin to express myself because I was so just like a tight book. I didn't want to express myself to anyone. I didn't really want to talk about my fears. I didn't want to be vulnerable. I had issues with that, and I started really having awareness on like, oh, I'm afraid to like talk about my feelings or, I'm afraid to talk about these things. Like that's not okay. I shouldn't be afraid. I should be confident and comfortable to talk to the people that I love about what's going on with me. And then I started to recognize that I wasn't comfortable and I wasn't confident about it. So I wanted to really dive into like what's happening. So I started with therapy, which was great. I recommend that for anyone that really, wants to begin the personal growth and healing. Therapy, I feel, is a great way to start, to at least get you to open up and start talking. It's great to talk to someone who you've never met. They know nothing about you and they could tell you about yourself, because I was very much had this idea of who I was and that identity about who I was. And that started to break down with therapy, which was great because I needed that. That was really like an ego breakdown. So then started with therapy, but I really wasn't diving into spirituality yet. So I would say probably 2017, I guess. Yeah, 2017. One of my friends, she was going through something in her life, and it pushed me to start reading about, certain connections and relationships in your life. I think I started reading about soulmates, and then I started reading again more about astrology and your birth chart and the planets and the alignment of the planets. Now, like I said before, I'm not an astrologer. I'm not an astrologer, okay? I know basic level astrology stuff, just to be clear. But when I started to read about for example, I'm a Scorpio sun. So when I started to read about the Scorpio woman is this, I was like, oh, okay, it connects. But it was also for me, I was having a hard time because I grew up Christian. I didn't go to church all the time, but I had when I started to go to church more in my teenage years. So I had that connection with Christianity and, Jesus and all of that. So it was when I started to dive into astrology, it felt like I was betraying my Christianity because I was taught, astrology is basically I don't know. It was we were taught not to even look into astrology at all. It doesn't really apply, because you're a Christian and everything you need is in the Bible. That's pretty much what you're taught. And I still believe in Christian principles. Even though I don't identify as a Christian anymore, I still very much believe in Christ consciousness and the principles of it and all of that. I don't identify with any religion. I'm just spiritual, but I like the different principles that you have in various religions, and I connect with them as well. So I felt like I was betraying my Christianity, and I felt I just felt confused. But I felt very drawn to this, learning more about astrology, learning about numerology, learning about how things really work, feeling like I had a purpose with this, but I couldn't quite understand what really was going on. So I started to look at the different connections in my life, and, I really started to commit to the personal growth part. But I would say probably in 2018, 2018, that's when everything just changed. That's when I started getting these prophetic dreams. I started really getting in touch with my intuition, and I started getting in touch with my team, my spiritual team. So my spiritual team, that's my ancestors, spirit guides, angels, archangels, my team of light. So I really started to get in touch with them. And it was they were telling me that it's more to life than what I'm doing right now. I have more to do. I have more to give. And so then I started to get into tarot. And so once I got into tarot, things just really took off because I just picked up tarot like that. Literally, it was me, tarot. That's literally what it was like. And I felt at home doing tarot. I felt like tarot was I don't know, it helped me so much. Tarot helped, I was able to help others. Because when I first started doing tarot, I was kind of just like doing it on myself, just practicing, but I would practice with like a couple other people. And so I started doing it when I started doing it for other people, and I just saw their reaction to what I was saying. And at that time, I was not confident with tarot. I thought I was, but I wasn't. I was not confident. I was just kind of like, let me just, I don't know, questioning. I was doubting myself a lot. I was getting all of these intuitive hits when I was doing tarot, not by just seeing the cards, but I was channeling. I didn't know I was channeling at that time. I really didn't understand that process. I was just looking at the cards. I'm like, I think this is what it says. But I saw others' reaction to it, and I was like, wow, I really feel like I'm helping them. And I've always had this desire to be of service ever since I was a child. Since I can remember, like, I felt like that was always part of my purpose. I knew that. That's why I went into teaching, because I wanted to be of service. And I love the rewarding feeling that I got from teaching, from working with children. It's really nothing like it. And when I started doing tarot, that's the feeling that I had, that nostalgic feeling of, oh my God, like, I see in their face like I'm really helping them. And so it was a rush. And I was like, I felt alive. And, you know, again, I'm going to break this up in different videos. I was going through a lot, dark night of the soul, because when you have an awakening, you usually get kicked into a dark night of the soul. I'm going to cover that in another video. But the dark night of the soul is a bitch. It's rough. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, it's rough. I'm sure some of you are probably in your dark night right now. I'm sending you love. I am. Comment below. I'm sending you love. I'm here for you. I will continue to make videos about it because it is rough. And anyway, I don't want to get off tangent because my time is almost up. But when I started doing tarot, I really felt like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it was an automatic, like, I felt like I was really getting into my purpose. Now, did I just think that I would just be a tarot reader? I wasn't thinking at that time. Like, it was just, for me, it was something fun to do and to help others. So I didn't know where all of that would lead, where it was going. But it was definitely, as you know, being raised as a Christian, that felt like another betrayal. And then I didn't want to tell people because I was afraid to tell people. I was afraid to be labeled as this, you know, witch, or, you know, this person that, you know, like people say woo woo, or, you know, whatever it's labeled as. I was afraid. I was afraid to even tell a lot of people that I did tarot. You know, it was like, what are they going to say? And that was just a fear in my mind, because when I told people, people were like, oh, okay. Like, they were literally, they were just like, okay, like, cool. Like, I had built up this entire story, self-limiting belief again. I had built up this entire story that no one will accept me. No one will be okay with this. You know, people are going to judge me. People are going to think I'm crazy. People are going to think I'm like this lunatic witch, and I know people do tarot, like, I know that. But, you know, you tell yourself these crazy stories. I had completely built this entire story. And when I told people, they were like, okay. Like, I was so afraid to tell my parents. And when I told my parents, my mom was like, wow, I see how your face lights up. And I was like, thank you, mommy. Like, it was just like, what am I so afraid for? What am I afraid of? Like, this is who I am. Own it. Love it. Love it. But I'm gonna stop here. We're gonna cover this in another video, part 2, spiritual awakening. It'll probably be a bunch of parts to that, so yeah, but I'll label it, this will be part 1. So thank you all for tuning in. I love you all. I'm sending you so much love and light. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Have a great day. Peace, love and light to you. See you next time.